Okay. Uh, Great. Welcome all, and good afternoon to everyone, and good morning to my sort of colleagues from UK. It's really nice to meet everyone virtually now. I mean, we would have ideally wanted to meet everyone in person, but so is the situation. And thank you to Samir and the whole team for organizing this for us. And it'll be hopefully a very good 90 minutes in terms of talking to you about what UK has to offer to Indian entrepreneurs and SMEs and startups, and how as a group we can support you in investing and doing business in the UK. I would let sort of Samir and maybe start with Vikram to kind of talk about what the UK government has to offer to entrepreneurs and companies in India, and then we can slowly take the conversation forward with other panel members.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kishore. So thank you for organizing this session. Thank you to Vikram Singh from the Department of International Trade, Government of UK, Ian Matthews from Moore, Kingston Smith, and Antonio from Shores and Legal for being part of this session. We are really looking forward to this session, and I extend a very, very warm welcome to all of you and all the participants for this virtual roundtable, which is a practical guide to doing business in the UK. Now, I see a lot of new faces who have joined in this virtual roundtable. So I'm going to take a quick couple of minutes to give an introduction about the 6th Chamber of Commerce, and then give my introductory remarks, and then hand over the session to Vikram. So the 6th Chamber of Commerce was founded in the year 2013 with the idea to promote commerce as well as promote the 6 values for commerce, the principles of honesty, integrity, equality, oneness, and service. So we have 3 key deliverables for our members and for the world, which is commerce, connections, and community. So to deliver these, what we do is we host knowledge sharing and networking events on a regular basis. These events are of various kinds, from seminars, conferences, workshops, talk shows, meetups, which start with even as little as 5 people and can go up to 50, 60, 70 people. To ensure that there is a lot of networking, there's a lot of exchange of knowledge. We invite experts from different industries, different backgrounds, and host various events like the one today. We have done many events with other government bodies from Australia, New Zealand, from Thailand, Canada, US, and this is a new feather in our cap, so to say, that we are now also excited to promote business between India and the UK. The Chamber has members from 15 countries around the world, and this number of countries as well as the number of members is growing month on month. I spoke about commerce and connections. The third vertical of community. Community for us is the whole world. Sikhism talks about whole human race being one. So everything that we do, whether it's service back to humanity, commerce for people, or connections for people, they're all based on the fundamental of secularism. And our members come from different backgrounds, nationalities. And today also, we have members from a few different nationalities, religious backgrounds. The only thing that we aspire is for a world which operates on ethics and morals and works together to achieve common good and collective growth. Today's session is very, very important and close to our hearts. The business ties between India and the UK, as we know, have kept on growing significantly over the last few decades, to a state wherein now India is the 2nd largest investor in the UK as of 2019. And the UK is also one of the most favorable destinations for Indians and others from around the world, not just for tourism, but also to settle down and make it their home. We have a lot of Indians in the audience, so I will definitely talk about the love for Indian food in the UK. And the love is so much that I think it's safe to say that the chicken tikka masala is one of the national dishes of the United Kingdom. So this love for luxury, food, entrepreneurship is what has grown this relationship. Firms on both the sides have regularly invested across territories and benefited from those investments. Jaguar Land Rover is one of the finest examples of this. Coming to the times that we are in today, COVID has been not just been a huge disruptor, it has also shown us that we are all together and one in more ways than we thought was possible. So it is also time that we use this opportunity, and I'm specifically using the word opportunity. So we use this opportunity to bring together the best brains, technologies, funds, and ideas together for collective good and growth. So while I also hope that things will return to normal, we'll be doing business as usual, historic evidence proves otherwise. History has shown us every time there has been such a calamity or such a problem, whether it is economic or health, things have not gone back to normal, things have only gone better. So what we can expect for is much better times ahead. We just need to get our heads around it and explore and work on the opportunities which will emerge soon. So on that note, I want to thank Kishore from Moore Kingston Smith for organizing today's session. A big thank you to Moore Kingston Smith for being the host of today's session. Also a special thanks to Kishore's wife, Vijay Lakshmi, who made the introduction between myself and Kishore, which led to today's session. So thank you so much to all of you. Looking forward to a great, insightful session. Over to you, Kishore.
Kishore, you're muted.
Yeah, Vikram, would you want to take the session forward?
Sure, thanks. First of all, thank you, Kishore, for inviting us here, inviting me here. My colleagues are also here today. So thanks for that. I am quite delighted to be here speaking to the members of the 6th Chamber of Commerce. And thanks, Samir, for that introduction. I think that was quite helpful. Some of the things that I took away from your introduction was food, of course, being a Punjabi, you know, and you talk about chicken tikka masala after lunch. So what do you expect, right? And I do agree with that because I travel a lot to the UK and I'm missing that this year. But sometimes I feel that the Indian food in the UK is probably better than what we get in India now. That's one. COVID-19, I think for me, I'm a sociable person, so I like to meet people across, travel across, and do face-to-face sessions. But I think the one good thing that COVID has done is, one, it has brought people closer. It has taken away all physical and geographical sort of boundaries and barriers. Depends how you look at it. Sometimes most of the time it's a positive, but then sometimes it also becomes a bit of a challenge because everyone seems to be available all the time, which was never the case earlier. Okay. And on the last note, I'm really hopeful. Like you said, better times ahead. People keep telling me, you know, I keep getting different kind of messages. So we have Jaitik, or I mean, she's a spiritual sort of a person. So we'll probably get her views towards the end in terms of when are those better times expected. So that'll be good. On that note, what I'll do is, my name is Vikram Singh. I work for Department for International Trade, and I'm based in the British High Commission in Delhi. My job is basically to help companies, Indian companies, set up and grow in the UK. So I'll walk you through my slides. It is meant to give you a good overview of, you know, what is the current relationship between India and UK? Why should you look at the UK? What is the kind of support you can expect from us as a department? And, you know, what are the other stuff around? What have we done on the COVID-19, the stimulus package that was offered by the Chancellor, some really attractive sort of packages that were launched, so on and so forth. So I'll just quickly start with that. And I'm also happy to answer any questions towards the end of the session, provided Kishore agrees on the time. So
You're always welcome.
sorry, I'm just going to move fast. All right. So these are some of the topics I'm going to cover, which I just spoke about. Let's just start with the first slide. And thanks, Samir. You did mention this is great news for us. Last week, we got our official results from Department for International Trade in London and UK. For the UK, India is now the second largest source of FDI. So we are just behind the US, uh, and we've actually overtaken Germany, France, and China. This is a great accomplishment for the DIT team in India. And we've done this, we've always featured among the top three markets in the last 5 years. We've done this about 3 or 4 times, and we hope that we continue to maintain this momentum. Currently looking at how does the India-UK partnership stand, I think if you just look at the global trade, the bilateral trade between the two countries, it seems to be growing by almost 10 to 15% every year. So over last year, it's actually grown by almost 10%, standing at 24 billion. Some of the other statistics are quite actually interesting. So, Indians invest more in the UK than they do in all of the all of the European Union combined. So overall, if you look at the investment figures, 27 billion, so many number of jobs created. Similarly, in the UK, if you look at the latest statistics, there are about 800 plus Indian companies in the UK creating about 105,000 jobs, of which 30,000 are in basically in the technology sector. Some of the other statistics, if you look at UK has been the largest G20 investor in India, and India has been the third largest investor in the UK since 2010. So pretty strong statistics there as well. And of course, London is the home of basically global capital. So I don't know how many of you remember when Prime Minister Modi went to the UK and he spoke at the O2 Arena and he spoke about three bonds: James bonds, Masala bond, and the Brook bond. So that's how it became really popular. So Masala bonds are basically raising capital in the UK, but instead of pound sterling, you can raise it in INR. So just moving on, of course, the IT industry completely resonates the strength of the partnership. If you look at the Indian IT industry from 1992, from 100 million industry, it has grown to over 190 billion. In fact, I was talking to the president of NASSCOM a few weeks ago, and I think now she says that we're targeting to take this to about 250 billion in the next 2 to 3 years. So more power to the technology sector, right? Uh, Also, some of the other statistics, UK also happens to be the second largest market for Indian IT company exports, touching over 25 billion. This is just after the US is number one. And of course, if you look at the GDP contribution of Indian IT industry now from 1.2% to almost 8% in 2019. Some of the other strong statistics in favor of the UK. I mean, if you look at UK has fundamentally a very strong domestic market, especially for IT services overall, standing at close to about 58 billion. Similarly, for the ICT procurement sector, that currently stands at about 36 billion. Some of the other World Bank, if you look at the indexes on the Global Innovation Index, it stands at fourth, again above our close rivals Germany, France, and Singapore. And in terms of ease of doing business, again, it's ranked eighth, again slightly higher than our competitors. Moving on to who we are, Department for International Trade, what do we do and how do we help? So we were earlier called UK Trade and Investment. We are present in over 100 countries, and we have expertise across all sectors. So you name it, whether it's infrastructure, energy, healthcare, trade, life sciences, pharmaceuticals, food and drinks, energy, renewable energy, all of that. So if you're looking to look at any of these sectors, we'll be happy to support. Our remit typically is trade, investment, and trade policy. What does this really mean? So I'm going to speak in the Indian context. So what we do is trade basically deals with British exports to India. So we have a team in India and in London that helps British exporters, work with Indian companies. And then we have the investment fund. Investment pretty much deals with helping Indian companies set up and grow in the UK. And that's what we do across both India and London and across the UK. And trade policy is basically a government to government dialogue. So we've set up things like Joint Economic Trade Committee, which is happening later this month between the Indian government and the British government. We work through basically market access issues, trying to create market for services and products from each countries, and how do we work through some of those trade barriers, and also things like free trade agreements also fall under the purview of trade policy. What are our services? Um, Let me just say right up front, all the services that we provide as the Department for International Trade are absolutely free of cost and confidential. We are not at all commercially driven. We are a UK government department. Uh, we just have two objectives. One, you have a great experience in the UK, and two, when you obviously you are contributing to the prosperity of the country when you are investing capital and creating jobs and so on. So that's really what's in it for us. How can we help you? So if you look at it, if you're looking to set up your company right from uh, you know right from getting your company registered, to finding you office spaces, to linking you to centers of excellence, getting information on tax, regulatory, and other business planning issues. So we work with partners like Kingston Smith, who are of course in panel with us. Of course, information on where you should be located in terms of mapping your requirements with the strengths of the UK. Uh, we also help you with hiring staff depending on the numbers. So we do a number of activities. So for example, if you're a big company and looking to set up a big sort of a center in the UK and you want to make a big splash, we can also invite a press and communications team and get all the media relations thing, the media bit done for you. In some cases, we've also invited senior government officials and ministers to do the inauguration. So every time I'm speaking to an audience, and what I want to leave you with a message that every time you think of the UK, just pick up the phone and talk to us. We will be the best to sort of guide you and escort you in terms of your UK requirements. Why should you consider the UK? I'm not going to speak through all the points here, but just some very important ones. Very welcoming, open international business destination, the world's fifth largest economy, and one of the easiest place to do business, right? One of the feedbacks that we keep getting there are about 800 plus Indian companies in the UK. One feedback that comes to us very consistently is the ease of doing business, is the overall experience of doing business in the UK, whether it's just living there, business environment, lifestyle, family, education, all that just adds up. Of course, as I said in the beginning, UK is the number one destination in Europe for FDI, from India. Uh, I'll just quickly move on. Of course, it also has the 7 of the 10 leading unicorns. Uh, Very quickly, of course, the lowest corporate tax, 19% across G20, zero withholding tax for dividends. We can give you more information on that. And it takes less than 5 days to set up a business in the UK. Just very quickly on this, I have covered most of the points, but I just want to stress on the high quality of life here. People just love the rich culture and heritage, and of course, um, a lot of affinity between India and UK, as Samir said, on food, culture, and so many other things. Uh, the top 7 universities are in the UK of the 10. So Cambridge, Oxford, London, I'm sure many of you have educated here. I wish I was from one of these universities, but perhaps in my next life. Uh, Ease of doing business, this is how the rankings look like. Uh, UK is ranked 8th. I think India has done quite well on 63rd. When Prime Minister Modi took up the office, India was at 187. So I think in the last 6-7 years, India has really jumped the World Bank rankings on ease of doing business. Corporate tax, I've already spoken about. COVID support, I think this is, while there's a lot of information available, but I think when the lockdown started and COVID started impacting businesses in the UK, I think Chancellor Rishi Sunak was one of the first ones to come out with one of the most impressive stimulus packages. Furlough scheme is one of the most popular ones. So this is basically, it's paying out or to UK-based companies up to £2,500 a month, up to a maximum, and of course giving the employer the flexibility to add on top of that. So this scheme is valid up to October. Is going to phase out by October, but there's a lot of sort of flexibility on furlough, part-time and full-time both. I'm not going to get into the discussion of how the calculations work, so I'm just going to move on. Also, there is a lot of finance available through the loan schemes that the Chancellor announced. Is the bounce back loan, basically meant for small and medium-sized companies from £2,000 to £50,000. And then there is the coronavirus business interruption loan scheme. again, for different slightly mid-sized companies with a turnover of about 45 million, and they could, access finance up to 5 million, which is amazing. Also, for the larger corporations with a turnover of 45 million, they could apply for a loan for up to 200 million. Let me also tell you that the interest rate across all these schemes, in some cases, were actually lower than 1%. So that's the kind of support that some of these companies got. And a lot of Indian companies who are based in the UK have availed these schemes. And one interesting piece of trivia is that the furlough scheme was actually designed by an Indian technology company for HMRC. Moving on, of course, you could also take loans through equity investments. So that's also available from 125,000 to 5 million. All the details are given here. I'm not going to sort of get into that. So my point on COVID support was, and there is a lot of information available, the government and the chancellor, I think the way he designed the entire stimulus or the economic package was that there was something in it for everyone, whether it was a small business person or whether it was a retailer or whether it was a medium sized company or a large corporation. So I think the entire stimulus package was designed to cater to everyone, so everyone could benefit from that. I won't spend too much time on these funds and other support activities. There was an business opportunity to set up, a local manufacturing in the UK that was well supported on PPEs and masks and things like that. So that's where it is. Migration, I will just give you the snapshot. I know my friend Antonio Lam is going to be speaking on that, but just a quick overview on the India status. 90% of Indians who apply for visas get them, which is great. 97% of non-settlement applications, so basically all your business visas and your tourist visas, take typically 15 working days for us to process. We have 300 plus visa application centers across the world, and India also has a priority service. So you could actually just book yourself into priority service. You could walk in with your appointment and just get top-notch service here. These are the different sort of migration routes. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but these are some of the ones from visitor visa to EU settlement scheme to startup, global talent, innovator, and we've added tier 2 general new skill employees. So this is just a quick snapshot on the migration bit. These are some of the changes that are going to be implemented from next year. We are coming out with a points-based system, which people have welcomed. I just want to also say that we have now suspended the limit on skilled workers, and now we are on par with EU, so which is a great welcome move, suggested by the government now. And of course, if you're sending your children to study in the UK, they could now work for 2 years post their graduation, which again was very welcoming. Startups, there is a very strong ecosystem in the UK, which is just next as good or just as strong as it is in the US. Is that we have a very vibrant business angel community. There's a fast-growing startup cluster in Tech City, Bristol, Cambridge. Depending on what your requirements are, we'll be happy to make all those introductions. Of course, I just want to spend just 30 seconds on co-working spaces. Let me tell you, the co-working spaces in London, which people perceive to be very expensive, but can be as cost-effective as Gurgaon or Delhi. So you could actually get a one-desk kind of a situation through London and Partners for about £100 a month. That's quite cost-effective. Moving on, just quick headlines on UK tech sector. I'm not going to speak on everything, but of course, like I said, the market is valued at 58 billion, broadband connections, strong, stable market, and a significant opportunity for investors who are looking to sort of expand the business in the UK. Some of the strengths across different IT subsectors, right from data analytics. These are all the new emerging digital technologies like data analytics, big data, artificial intelligence, e-commerce, augmented and virtual reality, social media. So we have detailed value propositions on each one of them. If you're interested, especially in IT or any of these sectors, we'll be happy to share very detailed information on all of this. I'm just going to stop here. You can, of course, reach me either through Kishore or you can write to me on my email. And this brings you to the end of my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions now or later. I'm going to leave that to Kishore.